Hello and welcome to today's New York crossover, London to New York crossover, and it is the 16th of July. So I look forward to sharing this hour with you. We're going to look at today at the Harmonic scanner and pitchforks. So I'll just start sharing the screen and let's get started. So we have this one that I'm in at the moment, which is NZD CAD. That's just coming, just touch the 15-minute line. I'll remove this at the moment. So it's done the 10 pips. This is the pitchfork here. I'll show you on the 50 minutes. It's just formed a new scan. Down here. So this is what we're looking at. And on the 5-minute, you can see that this 62 is curling back up. So it didn't do a break and a retest of the D point, but it did a break and a retest. Let me just magnify this a bit for you. There, got that alarm clock on it. And I've got an old pitchfork running through there. So it's now above the 62 EMA, the current trend. It might come back and retest that pitchfork there, and is above quarter theory. It didn't come and retest that D point. So let's put 1 minute. I'm just wondering whether I ought to, I'm not very good at putting trailing stops on. Let me think, what am I going to do with this one? If I put a 1 minute trend on, I'm not sure, because I think it's going to come back. And I don't really want to be stuck in it the wrong way round. Although it could go right back down. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to come out of this one. So I've done 6.5 pips. I'm just going to close that position. And that's better. I feel better for doing that. Because I was, to be truthful, I was in it for a sell, and then Connor pointed out that there was a new buy scan, which I hadn't caught up with, and I'd just been on the scanner. So I reversed my position on C-Trader. You can modify the position, and I very rarely do that. So that was turned out okay, because you can see I got in there. But I think I'll call it a day on that one. I feel happier doing that, because it wasn't what I was thinking of doing on my setup, if you see what I mean. Let me just clear that out. And then we've got a. Okay, so as far as this is concerned at the moment, then I haven't got a trade. If it comes back and retests that and holds above, that's 2.6 pips away. Then you've got the break and the retest of the pitchfork. You've got the 62 coming up. So we need another confirmation. And on our D point, we've got a trend line like that. 1, 2, 3, something like that, I think. I only had a very small fib there, which went up to about that point there. So the fib's not working. It's just testing that. So it's going to come back to this point. But I'm not sure where it's going to come back to test, whether it's going to come down there or if it rejects off there. But I'm just looking to see where we've got the third confirmation. So we'll have, how many is that breaking by? That's the 6.5. So that's that trade I've just taken there in effect. So we haven't really got a third confirmation, have we? We've got the, well, we've got the, if it stays above the trend line, we can count that. So that's 1. Break and a retest, although it's only 6.5 pips, that could be 2. and then the 62 coming back up, or coming up, not coming back, coming up past that pitchfork. Let's see what else we've got. I'm just going to check the news, which I did earlier on. So Thursday the 16th, we've just had, this is Paris time, Euro news. We've got some more Euro and USD. Just write that down. So Euro and USD on the 16th of the 7th. So let's have a look at some that don't involve that. That's GA. Nothing on that at the moment, but we'll set an alert there because that could be nice. You've got pitchfork and quarter theory together, which is very nice. Just change that to my alert colors, extend the right line, add alert. Can leave that one. That's a fast pair, but doesn't seem to be moving very fast. This was the one that we were discussing yesterday about the D point on Euro USD. So let's just have a quick look at the scanner, see if I can find.
Yeah, that one still hasn't moved yet.
Well, not in your opinion.
Well, it hasn't, the harmonic scanner hasn't redrawn yet either.
I know, but yeah, but if I look at it on the harmonic scanner, then I like it up there. That looks better. You've got to admit that looks better. So I'm going to be very naughty, Brian, and not listen to you.
But also it's a shark pattern and it hasn't hit either entry line yet either, right?
Oh, okay. Fair comment. Okay, so well, actually good point. So we'll leave that. No point in me redrawing that at the moment. I'll just leave it marked up like that. And then I know there's something afoot on that one. And also we've got the Euro news anyway, haven't we? So close that one down. USD CAD, we've got news coming up. So what time was the news on that? USD CAD, USD 230. So because this is quite nice, this is looking quite nice, but you've got news in 15 minutes. So let me just put this on because we don't know what the news is going to do. Let's see how much stop loss we'd have. Oh, wrong. Yeah, no, sorry. I was going to say wrong pair, but it's not. This is USD chef. So 10 pips stop loss. And let's take that down. It's a slow pair. And 515. Just do the settings. $100. It doesn't quite cover the pitchfork. It's got quarter three, it's got the 62 EMA. Watch for the news, see what that does to it. Let me just see what the trend has been up until now. I'll have to clean this one up from yesterday. Just bear with me. So it's a cell scan, and it has made its way very nicely down. The extensions have done their job and held it, pinged it back in. And here it is here. So that's an upward trend on the 15-minute, strong upward trend. The orange has crossed above the blue. On the 5-minute, it's still in buy mode and it's in that little price trap. So that might not be a sell, because remember, sometimes this hour before the before New York takes off. Anyway, we don't know what the news is going to do, so I'll move on to something else. But the other option is that. Okay. And that does cover, well, depending on what it does in a minute. So we'll leave that alone because of news. You can set alerts if you want. GCAD, this is the new one Brian just told us about. Thank you very much, Brian. Haven't seen that.
Oh, there was 3 screamer trades on that this morning, if anybody caught it.
You did a very nice markup. Let me...
I posted it in the chat here too.
Oh, have you? Oh, that's fine then. Thank you very much. Yeah, those look fantastic, Brian. Very, very nice indeed. Look at that, 2 lovely double rejections, and with quarter theory running along the D point pitchfork. Very, very nice. It is a fast pair, and now a beautiful move up above quarter theory. Just come down to the 1 minute now. And the orange has just crossed above the blue, and it's just breaking, and hopefully we'll retest quarter theory.
Yeah, Charlie said he hopped in at quarter theory.
Yes, I was just going to measure. Well done, Charlie. I was just going to measure this, because that means that we can break. This is the exception to the rule. We can take a quarter theory trade. So Charlie is already on the case with that.
But if you scroll back to the D point over there, you'll see where I found my entries, or my entries I saw in back testing.
Yes.
When I drew this scan.
Yes. Yes, I did look at them. You had a very nice.
Yeah, I drew a fib on there because that's about the only way you can get 3 confirmations off the D point.
So from there to
this little short peak on the left just before the D. That's where I drew it.
That one?
That one.
Can't do that, Brian. It's past the present. Always past the present. Past the present. Low to high for a buy, or vice versa for a sell. So that is the better way of doing it. But your drawings were very, very good. So it wasn't a problem because you had other confirmations.
Yeah, I had other confirmations.
You had other confirmations. You didn't really need it. So it just wicked through on this, on looking at it like this, the 88.6, and then here, perfect rejection. Well, just a tiny slip through on the 88.6. So very, very nice, perfect springboard off the D point and above quarter theory, which is very near to the pitchfork. So this is this is looking very nice trade.
Yeah, the last one is exactly where I put it in there, and I arbitrarily just exited at quarter theory for 50 pips.
Oh yeah, beautiful. So let's just put a long position on at here, this quarter theory. There is an old pitchfork running through there. It's about 20 pips. Just that 20 pips. I can see an old, very faint pale green pitchfork. As it's GCAD, I would normally put 15 on that. And it's just doing that little break and retest. You've got very strong, so you've got, it's giving you an entry there. You've got this coming up. You've got very strong upward momentum now. And the pivots show you higher highs, and you can see it's just peaked out there, the equal lows, and now forming higher lows. Okay, just take that off. So that would give you an entry at 1.7000. If I just bring the settings up, then you can take screen grabs if you want, and that gives you that trade idea. That says 3%. Ignore that. I never bother with these boxes. I was trying to work out a calculation to see if I could use it the other day, but I never bother with it. So I changed it from my normal 2% to 3%, because I only ever do 2%. Okay, oh, that's done. Seems like it doesn't want to. That's 1.8 pips off quarter theory, so obviously didn't want to touch it exactly, but I would consider that a touch in a 6.6 trillion market. So on a pair like GCAD, watch out for that stall out on that old pitchfork at exactly 20 pips. And then your target area is 40 pips up at that next pitchfork level at 1.70395. This is your zone. And then, as Brian said, up to the next quarter theory, the 50 pips at 1.70500. Okay. But as soon as you're 10 pips in profit, then you want to put your stop loss. You want to trail it 3 pips behind the 62 EMA. GCAD's a fast pair, or keep it behind quarter theory and the 1 minute trend. I'll put the trend on. And then after 15 pips, if you can, move it to here. But that's a bit soon at the moment, because price, depending on how much it reverses, could come and take you out at that 1 pip. You have to work that out. I'll just put that trend line on. So get an anchor at the bottom of your trend, and you're looking to keep price. It's quite a steep trend. Keep price to that above it, and then you know you're safe. There's no reason to get out of the trade if price stays above your 1 minute trend and above the orange line, which is the 62 EMA. So I'd probably have my stop loss back behind the previous low at the moment. Just keeping it. Let me just, that's 5 pips, but let me see how many pips it's moved up off quarter theory. 136, so it's just coming up to 15 pips. So if I had, normally I'd have another blue line up here, I'd have an alarm. So that's just about hitting the 15 pips. And then I would keep that 3 pips behind quarter theory, where that previous low is. That's 5 pips. This previous low and the 1 minute trend line, you want to be behind that, and just wait for that 62 to come up. So you're safe once that 62 starts to come up above quarter theory, and then gradually start pinching that closer to your quarter theory, because you've got to let this allow it room to breathe, to retrace and see if it's going to hold the 1 minute or be held by the quarter theory. So you've got to give it some room for slippage. And you've got to wait for that 62 to catch up with it. Okay, so that's how you run that trade. Of course, once it's up at 20 pips, then you should be fine at starting to think, depending on where the 62 has come to moving that to say 5 pips, and then squeezing it up to 10 pips. If you haven't decided to take your 20 pips, which is your trade goal, which is one of your exit confirmations. So, you know, that's why we always say when you get into a trade, think about how you're thinking about getting out of the trade. Just get rid of that. So that's a nice one on GCAD. On a buy. Okay, so please ask questions if you don't understand any of this about running a trade and stop loss to stop profit, because it will keep you safe and it will stop you giving money back to the market. Number one, we don't like drawdown, and number two, we don't like giving our money back to the market. We're here to do our job. This is our job. This is as valid as everything we do to work to earn money. We're here to earn money. This is our job, and therefore we have a right to earn a good, decent pay out of it for the hour or the 2 hours a day or whatever you're doing that we spend on the charts. Okay, so that's the way to look at this. And I'm going to come on to, I'm not going to look at USD JPY because of the news. Oh, I thought it wouldn't let me close that. It's not doing anything up there anyway at the moment. Don't think. We just had, I don't want to look at Euro Ord at the moment. So USD, Euro Ord, close that for the moment. Euro NZD. I'm going to put an alert up there because I like the look of that. See what it does at that extension level. I do like Euro NZD. Just want to keep an eye on that for later. So we'll close that. GCAD's just about hitting that. I'll show you that pitchfork. There's that old pitchfork running right at the 20 pips. It's this one here, there. Can't see the rest of it there, above there. Okay, so that's looking like a nice trade at the moment. Oh, GA is pinging at me. Oh, it suddenly shot up there. So a very nice point for us to be looking at. I need to tidy up my chart. You've got pitchfork and quarter theory. You've got the orange above the blue. So let me just tidy up my chart. I won't be able to think about it. Right, let's just take this lot off. Don't need any of those. Right. So where are we on this chart for GA? Very wild pair. So we've got a sell scan with a D point from the 10th of July. It's worked its way down to the median. It's been in that price trap and couldn't break through, so it came down to the next quarter theory, made another attempt, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections off that quarter theory, and it's turned above there to this line. Therefore, it could be coming back up to meet that 15-minute line. You've got previous lines of, I quite like all that stall out along there, which matches up with that area along that quarter theory there, although it will want to come down to this to pick up all this C point stuff, I think. But let's mark this one up. So at the moment we've still got, this is the 5 minutes, we've still got a strong downward trend on the 5 minute, but it looks like it's going to be breaking it. We'll mark it up on the 1 minute. The trend is your friend, remember? So let's see if it's breaking the trend. But you see all those long wicks mitigating that area. So, and look at all that stall out there. That's the open of London, and this is its move up. So we've got, let's put this trend line on like this. Let's make this as big as I can for you. It's better, we can see the candles. Put that down there. So we've got, I quite like that as a trend. I don't like that, that's too wide. I can pick up more points along here. So personally, you just have to put your trend lines where you feel your gut feeling. I think of trend lines more as zones. I know Christopher Terry, the founder of the company, he likes them on the wicks from some of the training videos I've watched, but sometimes I cut the wicks off, which I might not be meaning to do, but meant to do. But I've got all those touches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, little slip through there, 8, 9. I've got some touches to the upside there, and then I've got that on the upside. So I'm going to leave it like that. Just turn that to green because that's not an alert. And that has just come back. Oh, blimey. That's it. When you fast money up, fast money down, fast money up, secure the bag. That's amazing, isn't it? It's just done 20 pips up and down. And the pivots are showing us stall out on this zone, which sometimes we get at this time. I wonder how many. Let me put a rectangle on that. Just want to see how much it's moved. I'll just take it back to the opening of London. Oh, magnet. There we are. And up here. So before it's just made that move. I think I'll keep it there. See how many pips that was. So it has done. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do it like this. To the open of New York. So here to here. So 18 pips. If you included that, you could say it's done 20 pips on this very fast pair, 10 out of 10, maybe just a little bit over, maybe 25 maximum then for the whole of the London session, and that's a really fast pair. So there's our upper trend line, and I think we'll keep an eye on this. I'm going to put an alert on here. And let's see if it carries on up for the buy. Like that. So it came down, this is close of market. You can see how the brokers spreads and commissions. That's why I don't like being in late in New York. And some pairs obviously have bigger spreads than others, but look at that at the close of market. I bet that caught quite a few people out, 30 pips. And then another great big long wick down, certainly liking to collect some money and people's stop losses down there. And not much movement in London, which is very interesting. So I don't think it's carrying on for the sell unless it wants to try another attempt to come back down. I wonder what's behind earlier on these low levels.
I think there was a AUD news at 2:30,
oh.
Well, 2:30 my time, so that'll be those spikes, won't it?
Oh, you're right. Yes, good point. Yeah. That's all that then, Kathy. Yeah, thanks for that. You're right. So it is a sell scan. We're looking at this area here, but on the 15 minutes, it's still a strong downward trend. So we've got a bit of a curl up. So it could actually be carrying on down and now want to come down to fulfill its criteria, because it is a D, D point working its way through. So it could be a sell. So we can look at it at that quarter theory. Let me just see what the that's 87. So we've got a nice, so we could take a quarter theory trade again as a sell. So because it is a sell scan, though we can do either because the pitchfork leg is so big. So it could curl round again. So what I'm going to do is put an alert. That's the beauty of this. This strategy, you know where your levels are, so you don't have to be thinking, do I get into a trade anywhere around here? The answer is no, you don't. You're either going to be looking at it at 1.80000 as a trade for a buy, or you set your alert. So if you're working, you can then come and have a look at it. Or you're going to be looking at it as a sell at 1.7, 1.8, 1.79500, 1.79500. Okay, so just wait for your alerts to go off and then see what's happening and put your slider bar on for a long position, or down here we put it on for a short position, and adjust your trend line as if it carries on up, then I'd be drawing another trend line, because trend lines move. So I'd be starting to draw this sort of trend line.
Sarah, I have a question.
Sure.
Once the scan has, supposedly completed, done its C to D or whatever, and then, somewhere later on the price goes back into that scan, do you still have to abide by, if it was a buy scan, you wouldn't take a sell until after the median, or does that not, once it's done its first run, does that kind of negate all of that?
That's a very good question. I think it negates all of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and normally you'll also start to find new scans forming, won't you?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's just on the first run through of the scan, unless, as we say, that each leg is over 60 pips, then you can take the quarter theory trade.
Right.
Scan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. You're welcome. No chart layout. So that's GA. Did we look at GN? GN next. GN. Just check this one. So this is another fast pair. Oh, it's caught between the pitchfork and quarter theory. The orange has crossed above. You need to make sure it needs to come out of this area. So we won't look at that at the moment. You could put an alert there. You've got how many pips down here? You've only got, oh, that's 32 pips. That's not bad. That'll give you enough down there. Sorry, I'm waving my hands as flies have got in. So, oh, this is that sharp. No, it's not. This is another one. Why was I looking? Why have I circled that? I can't remember now. Maybe I moved this one up, GN. I must have moved it up myself from something else. Maybe this point moved earlier. So I've got my D point up there. I'm sure Brian will comment if he disagrees, but that's why I think I had that point up there. So on this one, it has not really done much, and it's a very fast pair. Hasn't even gone down to the median, so it's not actually a very strong scan for it. because it's just still sitting in this area, going sideways really. Normally on a pair like GN, which is very fast, you would have expected it to have moved by now, because that's 3 days. 3 days, 6 hours. It's still in that first leg of the pitchfork. So I'm not sure that's a very good scan. 88 on that. So what have we got going on this at the moment then on the 1 minute? We have an upward trend line. It is 88, so we could take a buy if we wanted. Trend line looks quite decent, like that. The orange is above there. It's done a break and a retest of the pitchfork, so you want a break and a retest of that quarter theory. I'll put a long position on there, so you can keep an eye on this one. $1.92000. But you haven't got your pitchfork covered. Put it there. And you would want your pitchfork covered really by a couple of pips. Let's have a look at GA. So wait for the break and the retest on that. GA just went off, didn't it? Here it is. So it's just stuck in that little trap there. So I think I'll just move that there. And we're not on the hour yet. It's still forming its higher highs, but is it going to reject off there and sidle along here, drop back down? I don't know. So we don't want to do anything with that at the moment. GA, GN, GCAD, we've done all those. We didn't do GJ, another very fast one. I'll do CAD JPY next, after GJ. So GJ, nothing doing for us at the moment. Oh, I haven't even got it in a scan. Nothing showing up. There are no new scans on this then at the moment. See where the scan is. Oh, it is in the scan. Sorry, I didn't see it. So that's the D point of the 9th of July. Hasn't come down to the median. That is, big scan, 130 on that leg. Beautiful rejection of quarter theory and the pitchfork there. Straight back up, rejection off the quarter theory. Bangs on down through, stall out, down to the next quarter theory, perfect to the pip. Rejection of quarter theory and pitchfork. Back up, all those wicks off the quarter theory again, stall out, stall out, stall out, stall out along quarter theory, comes down to the 15-minute to test that, so it's failing to make the lower lows again, and it's just ranging between the 62 and the 15-minute. I'll just fade these out so we don't have so much clutter on the charts, and come down to the 1 minute. So that's why I can't see my, and look, that's a lovely take profit zone up there, but it's not retested the quarter theory. So have we got, what confirmations have we got? We haven't got a break and a retest of quarter theory. Quite small volume on all these candles as well. And this is a fast pair, so there's not a lot of movement. Therefore, that should make you quite cautious that it's just going to sidle along here. And it hasn't done. It's done a break and a retest back to the 1 minute trend, and it is above the 62. But you are. I can't see any fib to put on it. I don't know whether to put. If I put a channel touch on it, let me see how. I don't trade this way myself, as Samantha says, you get your own sort of preferred way of trading. She loves channels. I've never really worked with them. So if you are taking channel trades, you would take one here up to there and see how many pips this is. Be off that quarter theory up to the top there. It's only 10 pips. It's a very narrow channel. So not really any good trading in here at the moment, I don't think. You want to see it. You want to see a wider channel. That's not the way we trade at this juncture.
Isn't the channel just an entry confirmation though?
Yes, it is, but you can either side, top or bottom, buy or sell within that channel as an entry confirmation.
True.
Yeah,
because since Chance does most of the back testing calls and whatnot, and he doesn't use channels very often, you don't very often see it.
correct. That's probably why, because I followed him and then she dropped out a bit more. So I've never really got into the channel touch thing. I can see the benefits, very powerful visually. It gives you, she loves it, gives you a lot of confidence that you can see exactly where, the trade is to enter and exit. But it's just not something I've ever done. So we'll look at CAD JPY. What I found yesterday was quite a lot of our trades moved immediately after the end of the call. So some nice trades yesterday. I'll just take that. I'm going to take that off there. Let's just go to the 15 minutes so you can see what we're working with. Just need to tidy that up. So we've got D point, lovely break and retest. Working its way up. The orange is above the blue. What's it doing on the 1 minute? The orange has broken back down for a sell. So the orange is now saying sell, but it's rejected off the pitchfork, which is still saying buy. And we haven't got, don't know what to say about this one. I think it's done a big move up at the end of yesterday. Just ranged across, touch there, no quarter theory, not really in a very nice zone. What's the pivot say? Pivots say lower highs and lower lows, but it's rejecting off that pitchfork. And I can't see a fib because that's lower point there, so it would have come past the 100%. So that fib isn't going to help us. So I don't think there's a trade there for us. and the quarter theory is quite far apart from that pitchfork. Oh, we could put a, I could put a trend line on, see if it's broken the trend line. But even there, I haven't got anything that I feel I can work with, because oh, let's say I'll put one on the other way around here. Not really I haven't really got a trend, have I? That's about it. So I'm finding this one a little bit. So normally what we'd look for is but we're a little bit off the pitchfork now. How many pips are we off the pitchfork? 6, just about on the edge. So normally this is what I would look for. I'd take the brush and I'd say, is it going to do that? So a break and a retest to the upside of the 1 minute trend and rejecting off the 62, or is price going to come and do that? Okay. So that's how I'll be looking at that trade. And I quite like marking things up like this, because it helps you get your eye in to say, I only see winning trades, I only see winning trades. And you come back later, do your back testing, think, oh, brilliant, my markups were correct. I mean, you may have to move them along a little bit, but that's a really great way to know that you're getting your eye in to see where price is on the charts against the levels that we use. So nothing on CAD JPY at the moment. That's rejecting off quarter theory, so it looks like it's not liking that at all. Let's try something else. Euro CAD. We just had the news, didn't we, on the euro? Or USD. Just had USD news, haven't we? Just have a quick look at it while I've got it open though.
The Euro news was an hour ago.
Oh, okay. I'll come back to that then. What time was the USD news?
It was, the USD news was 20 minutes ago.
Oh, right. Okay. That doesn't seem to have done very much with it. No trade on AUD USD. It's in the middle of nothing at the moment. There's the extensions down here. Oh, and with a quarter theory, so that's quite nice. If it pings it back in there, I think I might put an alert down there. See what happens down at that point. Doesn't always work out, but we'll see. There we are. What we'll do, let's go back to Euro CAD. Have a look at that. Don't know why. Oh, it's moved into another scan. I can't have looked at this one for a little while. So that's the D point there on this scan, but it's now come out of there and it's absolutely respecting perfectly this one from 27th of May. So that is D point 27th of May. That's 50 days old, that scan. So I'm going to, this shows you the power of it, just change that to green. And I'll bring this up in white for today so you can see it clearly. Down to quarter theory, stall along there is on the hourly. The extensions do their job, stalls out all along the extensions perfectly there, and the 62 is underneath it. It's worked its way back up to the pip really onto this old scan, come back down to the extensions. So let's have a look on the 1 minute. Some of you may not have this scan. I can always post them in the Discord channel. You'll have to work out the points yourself though. If you want anything, please ask. So perfect stall out along the pitchfork and quarter theory. And how much have I got here? So we can take a quarter theory trade. The orange is above the blue, but it is breaking down now below that quarter theory. So sometimes when that happens, I find that it's coming back down to test this. See if we can look at the levels before. Oh, we've got a lovely, hello, what have we got going on here, Brian?
Oh, Mr. Simpson.
Do you think it is?
A little lopsided on one side. But if
Hasn't
that
been
was
to
from
the
yesterday,
barbers for a while.
if that was from yesterday, there was red flag Canadian news at about 3 o'clock UK time.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yes, I think we caught some of that. So we have a spring up here then. So we'll be looking at this to make its way back up now to collect all the stop loss money up here then. That's how it works, isn't it? I haven't finished going through the trade house stuff yet. So let's come down to the 1 minute. So what I'm going to do is mark, if it does drop right back down, fine, we've got an entry at 1.54000. It might just come down to this 15-minute line. So I'm going to put an alert back at this quarter theory. Ooh, how have I managed that? Right, so what does the hull tell us? So it looks like it's just broken that 1 minute trend line. Hull says buy on the 15 minute, the band at the back's the 15 minute. But it is a lagging indicator, so it doesn't mean to say it won't turn to red. Trend line on, let's see what that trend line is telling us. So there we've got a break and a retest back to that 62. That's not brilliant. No, I think that is about the best. So it touches there and to the other side and all along there and there and there. So we've now got a nice little doji. Is that a doji or a hammerhead? Little doji candle there. Indecision candle, mean right on quarter theory, 50-50 trade. And now it's stalling out below the quarter theory. We've got it below the 62, but that's still above the quarter theory line, and we have got a break. We've got a break and sort of retest back to the 62 break of that trend line. So I'm thinking I'm liking the look of keeping an eye on EuroCAD for a buy because of that big teacup shape that formed. And we are coming up to the hour, so that could have been the fake out. So I'll just put a long position on to see what confirmations we've got in our red box. You'd be looking for that up to that pitchfork 1.54750, but I'll just set it at the 20. 1.54750 and EuroCAD there. So you'll have quarter theory. We've only got one confirmation in that box at the moment. So I could do this, I think. See if I can put a fib on. I'll try it from there. That's only a 50%. And if I put a bigger one on right back down to there, what does that tell us? That it's got to come right back down. Oh, now that's interesting. So I think if it does this down to that 61.8, which is right on that 15-minute, and then start to come back like that. So that's all we've got time for today, unless anyone's got any questions.
Have you got time for just one, Sarah?
Yeah.
It was what Julie said that about the when you can decide whether it's past the median or not. If it's had an initial move, then that rule might not apply. Is that how have I misunderstood what you said?
There's two separate things, Kathy. One is that the initial scan will work its way down from D to C, and we only, or up from D to C, we will only take a sell in the direction of the scan till it hits the median if it's a sell scan with the D point at the top, or vice versa with the D point at the bottom. We'll only take a buy up to the median point. That's 2 pitchfork legs until it's hit the median, unless the exception to the rule is if it's a big scan where each leg of the pitchfork is 60 pips or more. Normally we're looking for a minimum of 20, C to D leg 80 pips. And that, and if it's a minimum of 60, then we can take what we call a quarter theory trade, like Charlie did on that orange dotted line. And Julie's question was, once it's completed the scan, the extensions have done their job like Bollinger Bands and pinged it back in. Do those same set of rules apply? I.e., you've got to wait for the median again.
Right, I understand the question. Yeah, I understand now.
Yeah,
then, yeah,
and I think it doesn't apply. It's a free for all. Once the scan's completed,
but it's completed.
It's completed.
Yeah.
So it will then be starting to form its new Elliott waves to find the new scan. So you can do what you like once it's come and completed the scan, you know, on that extension back in.
But as long as it's gone past the median, you could take it the other way.
Oh, on the first scan, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it's a buy or a sell is fair game once it's hit the median. As I say, unless it's 60 pips minimum, which is the exception on the leg. Brian, I found it back testing. I'm asleep during most of London. He's such a slacker, this boy. I haven't updated scan. Mine is 7th of July. Oh, that's Charlie. Good 1 minute trend line. Yeah. That's it. Okay, thanks very much for answering the question.
Hey, Sarah, if you want to hang out and look at your Discord problem, you can stop the recordings and whatnot, and we'll take a look.
Shall I stop the recording here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.